started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it. I fit the description, I'm the definition. I'm what they prescribe like she seen a physician. She wanna ride cause she seen how we getting it. Big ol' booty, she my passenger princess. She like to argue, she don't like to listen. She bougie and toxic, she fine and she picky. Pretty and sedity, she get recognition. Matching nails and toes, man, she always French tip 'em. Parking lot pimpin' when we in the city. Don't ask her about twine, she twerk on the engine. She eat the dick in the car cause it's tinted. She pay me attention like she get commission. Pimpin' CEO, so I give her the business. She ride on the dick like she doing some fitness. She make the dick disappear like she magician. She like to swallow, man, she love when I finish. Having motion, man, you know I got plenty. Bitches choosing cause they know that I'm winning. See some thousands, now I'm after some millions. So all my houses come with chandelier ceilings. Pillow talking, man, that shit just ain't in me. Keep it pimpin', I can't do no pretending. Jealous hearted, man, you know I ain't with it. Cuffin' hoes, I can't do no commit. No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it.
What we doing tonight, chat? I need everybody to double tap their screen, shut a live out, man. Y'all know what time it is. We got to get to 100 likes. We fighting our way out this shadow band, but we still in intro mode, baby.
I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spence a night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spence a night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean.
What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut a live out, man. We back with another one. Where's the tag? Hold on.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
There we go, hold on.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Hey, saying Trump sets up JD Vance for the fall. Maga is loud and wrong with their takes on this baby being taken out by the police. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. I see everybody in here early. Big Niche, what it do? Jack Killer, Laurie, what it do? Lala, I see you. What's going on, man? Everybody double tap that screen, shut a live out. We got an action-packed episode. We're gonna get into the baby that was unalived in Senatobia, Mississippi. They found the officer that's been put on leave that done it. Also, we have JD Vance in a full-length interview, and he also took questions regarding this Iran situation. The ceasefire is over. The deal is off the table. Netanyahu is not complying. Chat, how do y'all feel about Netanyahu? Also, we have a couple other things to talk about. We got Anna Kasparian sat down with Mario Nafal. We also had Stephen A. Smith. I believe he moderated a debate between Royce White and Isaiah Martin. Double tap the screen, shut a live out chat. We got an action-packed episode. I'm not going to hold y'all up too much. This lady right here is the mother of the 1-year-old child that was unalived by police in Senatobia, Mississippi. I have not heard her response. I have not listened to her. I believe it happened on Sunday. So we're about to get her response now.
Valencia Wiley lost her son to the negligence of law enforcement in Senatobia, Mississippi. Can you please tell what happened?
All right.
It was me, my son.
Before we get into what happened, we got Mega Dan coming through with the super chat. Thank you, Mega Dan, for the super chat. Chat. Everyone hit the like button for Mega Dan and that $5 super chat. Double tap your screen, go to the top, make sure the 3 dots are hit, man. But this is her official response. Thank you, Mega Dan, for supporting the channel.
So what happened?
It was me, my son, and another friend of mine who was at Walmart. As we was leaving out the Walmart, they tried to stop her, but I kept walking because it had nothing to do with me. By the time me and my baby got in the car, she came, and then when we was backing up, they was running out the come. I raised my baby up because they withdrawed their gun. She had no tent. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. So she was back.
She raised the baby up to try to show the officers. She'll never live that one. She'll never get over that. She'll never get over that. Oh my gosh, bro.
And then when we was backing up, my baby got in the car. I kept walking because it had nothing to do. Leaving out the Walmart, they tried to stop her, but I kept walking because it had nothing to do with me. By the time me and my baby got in the car, she came, and then when we was backing up, they was running out the come. I raised my baby up because they withdrawed their gun. She had no tent. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. So she was backing up and she hit a car as I was opening the door, so the door flew back in. By the time I sat.
Hey, we're going to get you right, Mega Dan. I'm going to start this over one more time, chat, because when I give my monologue about it, I don't want to be confused from her point of view. But Mega Dan, we'll get you that PayPal. It's Plugsation on everything. Plugsation on Cash App, Plugsation on PayPal, Plugsation on the YouTube super chats, man. Let me roll this back because I don't want to confuse what she's saying.
As we was leaving out the Walmart, they tried to stop her, but I kept walking because it had nothing to do with me.
They tried to stop her, but she kept walking because it had nothing to do with her. So they're alleging that they were in there stealing. She's saying she wasn't stealing. I haven't heard her say it verbatim, but if she's saying it had nothing to do with me, that means like, hey, they were trying to stop her, not me. They were trying to stop the person I was walking with.
By the time me and my baby got in the car, she came, and then when we was backing up, they was running out the come. I raised my baby up because they withdrawed their gun. She had no tent. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. So she was backing up and she hit a car as I was opening the door, so the door flew back in. By the time I sat my baby down, it was like 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him.
So she says she opened the door. The girl backed up. Boom. If you're opening the door, you drive forward, the door swings open this way. You back up. I don't know how the door would shut, but when the door fling that way. Maybe she was holding on to the door and she has the baby, so she just shut herself in there. And she said she was trying to put the baby down. So she's saying she showed the baby through the window, no tent. She's trying to get out of the car. The girl that's driving, boom, backs up and hits another car. That's when the door shuts, when she hits the other car. and that's when the police started shooting. Am I saying that right, chat? Are y'all with me? Is that what she's saying? She's saying that she came out of the store. They tried to stop her. She said it had nothing to do with her. She kept walking. She gets in the baby in the car. The other girl, I'm assuming, comes out of the store. I don't know if she was running or what. She gets in the car. She says that she's holding the baby up. Like, hey, we got the baby here. She says the car door is open at some point. And the car door, I'm assuming she's trying to get out. The car, she backs into another car. The driver backs into another car. She says that's when the car door shuts. And immediately after that, 3 or 4 shots go through the window. I believe that's where we're at.
My baby down. It was like 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him.
She wasn't trying to run over the police. The lady that lost her child was not the driver. The lady that lost her child is also saying that Walmart trying to stop them had nothing to do with her, alleging that she wasn't stealing. So the lady that lost her 1-year-old son, we can infer that she was not stealing because she kept going, said it didn't have nothing to do with her. The other girl stopped, I guess. She also was not driving. How was she driving and showing the baby? She just said the girl that was driving backed into another car. So the girl that lost her child was not the driver.
In his rib cage, and the other shots hit her in her arm and her thigh. And we left and went to Senatobia Hospital where he was pronounced dead at the scene. And they told me I wasn't gonna be able to see him until he get back from Jackson. She got airlifted, and the police told me I couldn't leave out the hospital until somewhere I couldn't leave out, couldn't nobody come in.
Chat, I need everyone to hit the like button for me. Double tap that screen, hit the like button, because I've been hearing a lot of takes. Everybody's saying it's a Renee Good situation. Shouldn't have tried to run over. Well, this girl right here wasn't the driver. The driver was just somebody she was with. She said she held the baby up. If there was a report of stealing going on, they knew there was a baby in that car. When those shots rang out, they knew it was a child in that car. If there was reports of stealing and they responded to Walmart, they knew it was a baby around. And she said that she held the baby up. They knew it was a baby in that car.
But I ended up walking out, and the crowd was questioning them, asking them what happened. They was like, she was shoplifting. But the passenger, it was me. They wasn't talking about me. They was talking about the driver. But on the little, what's it called, self-checkout, they can see, it's cameras, they can see when she got the diapers and walked out. But yeah, they tried to say that she forcefully was trying to drive and hit them, but they was all on the right side, and she was driving towards the left. They just personally just shot in the car.
Did they try to charge you with anything?
No.
Tommy, why are you saying she's a liar? What makes you think that this woman is a liar? What proof do you have that she is a liar?
They didn't charge me. They ain't charged me with nothing. They just let me go. And they didn't say nothing.
Didn't charge her with nothing. Let her go. So who the fuck was stealing? Had to be the other girl, the driver.
Diapers and walked out. But yeah, they tried to say that she forcefully was trying to drive and hit them, but they was all on the right side, and she was driving towards the left. They just personally just shot in the car.
Did they?
By the time me and my baby got...
So I don't know who this man is right here. Did he say who he was at the beginning? Is he like a lawyer?
Marcus Keith.
Who is Marcus Keith?
Valencia Wiley lost her son to the negligence of law enforcement in Senatobia, Mississippi. Can you please tell what happened?
It was me, my son, and another friend of mine who was at Walmart. As we was leaving out the Walmart, they tried to stop her, but I kept walking because it had nothing to do with me.
And that's another thing. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's a sad situation. She was not the one stealing. She lost her child. But why are y'all in Walmart stealing, man? Walmart is not the fucking place to be stealing at, man. Do y'all not know that they been cracked down on that shit, man? What do y'all do? Like Walmart?
By the time me and my baby got in the car,
And listen, Chad, I'm not encouraging any theft or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, Walmart of all shit, Walmart.
Came, and then when we was backing up, they was running out the come. I raised my baby up because they withdrawed their gun. She had no tent. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. So she was backing up and she hit a car as I was opening the door, so the door flew back in. By the time I sat my baby down, it was like 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him in his rib cage, and the other shots hit her in her arm and her thigh. And we left and went to Senatobia hospital where he was pronounced dead at the scene. And they told me I wasn't gonna be able to see him until he get back from Jackson. She got airlifted, and the police told me I couldn't leave out the hospital until somewhere I couldn't leave out, couldn't nobody come in. But I ended up walking out, and the crowd was questioning them, asking them what happened. They was like, she was shoplifting. But the passenger, it was me. They wasn't talking about me, they was talking about the driver. But on the little, what's it called, self-checkout, they can see, it's cameras, they can see when she got the diapers and walked out. But yeah, they tried to say that she forcefully was trying to drive and hit them, but they was all on the right side, and she was driving towards the left. They just personally just shot in the car.
Did they try to charge you with anything?
No, they didn't charge me. They ain't charged me with nothing. They just let me go. And they didn't say nothing. They just kept telling the crowd that they were shoplifting. But I don't know if they found anything, because it's nothing to find.
Okay.
All right, chat, double tap that screen. We got to get to 100 likes, man. Please hit the like button, man, on your way in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, man. This is the officer that allegedly did this.
Why this guy's face isn't fucking everywhere. This is Hunter Foster. He's a cop in Senatobia, Mississippi, where 2 days ago he shot into an unarmed black woman's car and killed her 1-year-old son. Police were called to the scene due to an alleged shoplifting incident, but I just want to preface by saying I don't give a fuck if the woman was stealing. She claims that she has the receipt on her phone for the diapers. I don't give a fuck if the woman stole the fucking diapers or not. You don't get to shoot people for stealing. You don't. And though this story is not getting the national coverage.
So he is suspended without pay as of right now. I want to see the footage too. I want to see the Walmart. I just watched they had a town hall or a meeting about it, and the community's asking for the footage unedited. The community is really concerned that law enforcement is saying that they're not going to expedite any of this footage because they don't want to derail the investigation. They're not going to lose quality control trying to expedite this footage. And the community is not having it. The community's like, oh, y'all are trying to doctor this footage. We want the raw footage from Walmart, and we want the raw body cam footage. So, I don't know. The guy that was speaking on behalf of the police department didn't seem like he was too interested in getting the footage to the public immediately.
Coverage that it deserves. This is definitely front page local news. So people, the community is coming together. They're organizing. They're protesting. Senatobia police are tear gassing protesters.
They were tear gassing the protesters.
Keep your eyes on Mississippi. Don't let this story get swept under the rug. Justice for Cohen. Can't end the video without also adding fuck Hunter Foster, fuck Mississippi, and fuck the Senatobia Police Department.
All right, man, I didn't know she was going to drop all those F-bombs, but it is what it is. All right, here's another clip about it. I haven't watched this one either. Let's get this guy's take.
So I'm making this video to talk about the 1-year-old baby, Cohen Wiley, who was murdered by a police officer in Mississippi at a Walmart. And here are the police, one day after murdering a 1-year-old baby. They're back and they've returned to the scene of the crime that they committed. Not to arrest the cop who murdered the baby, but to protect Walmart, to protect Capitol, and tear gas the community. There is no reforming a system that is this barbaric and inhumane. There is no reforming a system that says that the life of a beautiful baby is worth less than Walmart merchandise that wasn't even stolen because the mother had a receipt. Not that it should matter, right? Even if the mother had stolen.
See how this shit go? See how this shit go? Allegedly, the mother had a receipt. Lost her 1-year-old son. What happened to the boy with the waters? They said he stole 2 waters. He didn't steal a motherfucking thing, and they chased him out of the store and gonna get off on self-defense. Chased him out of the store, claimed he was stealing, talking about, oh, he shouldn't have ran. Why the fuck am I getting accused? Now we got a 1-year-old unalived and a boy unalived over some diapers and some damn waters that we know for sure the waters weren't stolen, and we're getting reports that the diapers weren't stolen either, man. This shit is crazy.
The diapers that she needed for her baby. That is no justification for a police officer to murder an innocent child. But the mother, she had a receipt. She bought the diapers, which means someone at Walmart, or it could have been a customer, but someone at Walmart, it could have been one of their employees, it could have been a customer, called the police suspecting that this mother stole the diapers. So it was literally racial.
I just told y'all, man, about that shopping while black. Didn't I talk about that this morning, chat? Didn't I talk about shopping while black this morning? I'm telling y'all, shopping while black is a thing. Shopping while black is a thing. They called the police on them before they even knew she stole. Probably if the police was up there, man, they called them. They called them before she even got to the self-checkout and shit. All of that, man. Because she was shopping while black. Being suspicious and shit. It's crazy.
Profiling that led to the death of this beautiful baby. And I don't want to hear any excuses. Oh, but
hey, Sandman, stop spamming in my chat. I'm trying not to curse as much. Stop spamming in my chat, Sandman. Before we box you up, man. FedEx, get you up out of here, man. Stop that spamming shit. We see you. We just don't care what you saying. We see you. We just do not care what you saying.
But she tried to run over the police. No, she didn't, actually. The police were never ran over. What the facts tell us, the police weren't ran over, but the baby was murdered. And the other thing I see that really upsets me is I see people in the comments and they're like, well, you know, she had it coming or this, or you can...
You spam and you keep saying the word racist and then you calling me a moron. You could really get out of here, man. Don't worry about it. Jason got his ass up out of here, man. Wiped his nose. We'll see him next time. Everybody wave Sandman goodbye. Jason, who the fuck else did you block? It wasn't the mother stealing. Get the story right. Jason, you blocking the wrong people, bro. Like, I'm finna take your pistol. I don't know if you shaky-handed or what, Jason. You tripping.
See the racism. But here's the story. The system has weaponized your own racism to hold you down. Because yesterday, it was a beautiful black baby. Tomorrow, it's your baby. The system doesn't care about any of us. It only cares about enriching the people at the top.
All right, man. This is the actual meeting. This is the town, the community meeting. So that y'all are gonna hear the community's already being worried about the police doctor in the footage. They're worried that they're not gonna get the raw, unedited footage.
And with that, Mayor, I'll be glad to answer any questions that y'all have about our process, how we do it, why we do it, and anything else that I can't answer. I'm not gonna get into details.
Nah, this was in Mississippi. Mississippi's for damn sure a red state.
The investigation is still very preliminary. This incident occurred on Sunday. It's Tuesday. We're still interviewing witnesses, and I will tell you that our incident assistance coordinator has been in touch with the family's attorney, trying to make sure that we're reaching out to them as well to make sure they understand the process directly from NBI.
May I ask you one question, being an old person?
Sure.
The city's called Senatobia. Senatobia is the city.
Okay, do you get out here and kill a baby or kill anybody and continue to...
She says she has a receipt for the Pampers, and she said that you can see on the self-checkout where they paid for the Pampers. So it'll all come out. It'll all come out. According to the woman, she said that she paid for her shit. The other shit she said that didn't have nothing to do with her.
To walk around policing with a gun?
Typically, what I see in most situations, and I'm confident that what we'll have here is that there is some sort of lead that is put in place.
But he didn't say that, though.
Well, look, those are personnel matters, and they have to be careful about what they discuss as far as personnel matters in public. And I'm just telling you what I typically see is usually these officers, for their own safety as well as everybody else's, are put on some sort of administrative leave during that time period because that's just the typical process. I can't imagine it being any different here.
It still is some comfort to the family and some comfort to the community. If this man had said, well, he's on suspended leave, he didn't say nothing.
That's right. And we'll talk about that and get with legal counsel and make some information.
Hey, Salty, I'm gonna ask you to stop typing in all caps in my chat, man. I'm gonna ask you to do that. Get that shit together.
Ain't no legal counsel for that. That's common sense.
Well, it is common sense, and I think that's probably how 98% of these
hit the like button, chat.
How long do you think the commissioner's investigation is going to be?
They vary. Right now, you have to do the autopsy. That has to be performed.
We are staying on top of breaking news out of Senatobia, Mississippi, where people are packing out the city hall there, outside and inside. We're hearing from authorities who are investigating the case. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is overseeing a shooting, an officer-involved shooting that happened outside of a Walmart that ended with a 1-year-old dead. And that 1-year-old is named Cohen Wiley. And today, Senatobia community members all rallied for justice for that 1-year-old Cohen Wiley. We are expected to also hear from the family of Cohen Wiley as well. This is outside of the Senatobia City Hall, where you can see a large crowd has now gathered. Lots of people speaking in opposition of this or for justice, calling for justice of how the events unfolded leading up to that shooting. So large gathering, as you can see. We have our Lauren Turman on scene there, as well as we have 2 cameras following the developments that we are seeing right here live. We do know that the family is now being represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. We also heard that Van Turner, who is a well-known Memphis attorney, is also accompanying those legal efforts as well. So we do have 2 cameras with team coverage following today's efforts for justice for Cohen Wiley. This is the rally. We're going to take a quick listen in, if we can, to hear what people are saying outside during this demonstration outside of City Hall.
Yeah, they tear gassed him. 1-year-old baby, unalive, they out here protesting and got tear gassed, man. This shit is crazy.
It's been going on. You can't go ahead. Sorry.
They ain't tore up shit. They ain't done nothing, man. They could have tore the city up. They could have fucked the city up behind this, man. They ain't do none of that. Already getting tear gas. Crazy.
All right, we are going to touch back base with our crew there once they get settled. But this is inside of City Hall, where we know that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is taking over this case at the moment. We do have an official there addressing the public. We heard one person ask about what would happen or what is going to happen with the officer who was involved in this shooting. And the gentleman there mentioned that typical procedure would be to put officers on administrative leave. Senatobia city officials are also present, as you can see. Earlier, this whole room was packed, but it seems they may have done some crowd control at this moment. So let's listen in to see what else we can gather from what's happening at this moment.
leave without pay.
Right. That's the motion the fact has been made.
In executive session, they can still take that up and make a vote. I know that's what you can do. Would you agree?
I agree that they have things that they can do in executive session that aren't discussed in public. I do agree.
But I mean, that decision could be made.
There's a wide range, yes, sir. I'm disagreeing.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mississippi not going for that shit. I had to put this shit into perspective. Like the summer of love, all that shit that was going on in Minnesota and wherever that shit was going on, in Mississippi, that shit'll be a fucking massacre, man. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, chat. It'll be a fucking massacre before Mississippi let some shit like that go on.
Would they have to have had, could they have put that in vote in motion and have a vote, or does the law prohibit them?
What up, Christine?
The law don't, no, I ain't a lawyer.
I think, I don't want to speak for the council here, but typically personnel matters you take up in executive session because of liability concerns. If they have a frank discussion and something is said that's not accurate, then that opens the city up for defamation claims and other things. So those are typically matters that are handled in executive session so that you don't.
I'm just gonna be honest, boycott Walmart for what? Walmart just so happened to be the location this situation went down. I mean, the employee is the one who called the lot. I mean, boycott Walmart for what? I'm just asking. I'm truly asking, like, shit, Walmart need to come on with that footage, but I'm just boycott Walmart for what?
Damage reputation and personal information. So that is typically how that's done.
So that question, that the motion that they were trying to get you to make, was that proper or not?
I don't know.
It is,
they're choosing not to speak for liability reasons.
We all know it was proper, the motion was proper. Now, we gonna bond this motion.
It was a motion, and I don't know that that was on the agenda, and I'm not sure how the items work.
You put stuff on the agenda, you call me.
And I think that's probably what they will discuss. I will tell y'all, just like we told them, we're about to meet with the press over at the courthouse and answer any questions that they might have about the process. So we're about to make our way over there. Unless y'all have any other questions of me, I'll be glad to try to answer those. If y'all have any questions after you feel like you need to reach out, talk to the chief and get an answer, and we'll get my number and I'll respond.
All right, we're gonna do a first live poll of the night, chat. Should the officer be charged in this shooting? In your opinion, should the officer be charged?
I'm Commissioner Sean Tyndall with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety oversees 11 different divisions, including the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. In 2022, legislation was passed that required the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation to investigate all officer-involved shootings in the state of Mississippi. As part of that legislation,
Landon.
once that investigation is complete,
What's up, Dwayne?
our files are turned over to the Mississippi Attorney General's office.
All right, so the Mississippi AG, I don't know who the Mississippi Attorney General is. I gotta look and see who the Mississippi Attorney General is. Everyone hit the like button, chat. We gotta get to the like goal. Please double tap the screen on your way in. Just tap twice on your phone or go to the top and check the 3 dots, man.
And they will review and make a determination as to whether or not to present that case to a grand jury and whether or not that trial against any officers would proceed after that point. This was done to bring independence to the process, one where the public could trust the process knowing that it was independent from local agencies. Mississippi Bureau of Investigation policy.
See, this is the thing. You said he didn't mean to shoot the child. He was reacting to a threat. His threat assessment was not good. The threat if the child was in the car, you knew the child was in the car because you got the call of these 2 women with the child potentially stealing. You knew a child was in the car. The lady just said she held the child up to let him know the child was in the car before she tried to put it. She even said referenced that she was trying to get out of the car, but when the girl backed up, she hit another car and it slammed the car door shut. Soon as the car door slammed shut, 3 or 4 shots went through the car. So if the police was reacting to a threat, the threat assessment wasn't you gotta know it's a baby in that car. If you're gonna shoot into a car, you gotta know it's a baby in there. He knew it, you gotta know it's a baby in there. My audio changed. How the hell my audio changed?
Now dictates that once that investigation is complete, our entire file, as well as any evidence collected, body cam footage, dash cam footage, surveillance footage, will also be available to the public as part of a public records request. The purpose for that is because we believe that transparency creates accountability, and with accountability, we're able to maintain the public trust. Those policies and procedures will be followed in this case as well. To make no mistake, this is a very tragic situation. I want the public to be assured that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation will conduct its independent investigation. We have 5 agents working on this case, gathering statements, gathering evidence, and working diligently to prepare a file to present to the AG's office. I would ask that the public maintain patience as much as possible. And I know this is a very frustrating time, but maintain patience as this process is done. And keep in mind that it's important for us to be able to interview witnesses without threat of intimidation. And
what it was is when the audio popped, it wasn't my voice, it was the video. I believe, because when I cut this video on, I was only hearing it out of one ear. And then once we got so far in the video, the other ear popped on. I know what y'all mean, but I think that was this video's audio.
one of the things that we don't want to have is witnesses that are afraid to come forward out of intimidation. So it's important that we keep civility during this process so that we can get to the bottom of it and we can analyze all the evidence and then ultimately make it available to you all. And again, I understand your frustration. Unfortunately, these incidences have occurred all over the state of Mississippi. And over the last several years, NBI has done numerous investigations. And in all those cases, the ultimate findings were made available to the public. And so I want you to be assured that it will be a thorough investigation and it will be one where transparency is there. I'll be glad to answer any questions from the media first, if there are any that you might have about the process. I will not get into the details of the investigation. I would have everybody keep in mind.
You said that mom is guilty of theft. They said she didn't steal. They haven't charged her with theft and not putting the baby in the car seat properly. So, because they thought she stole something and she didn't have a chance to put the baby in the car seat, the baby just deserved to get shot. The baby was supposed to get shot the fuck up. That's what you're saying here. Some of you have no heart. I don't know, man. I would be weary of letting my kids come over there, man. I don't think you got the best interests of kids in your, I don't know, man. Do they let y'all babysit? Like, do y'all kids have fucking play dates? Do these parents know this shit?
This just occurred about 48 hours ago, so it's still a very, very new investigation.
I'm Rob Sneed with Fox 13 News. Question about the actual body cam video. When is that expected to be released? A lot of people keep asking about that. I know that there's a process, but is there a time frame?
The way that we've handled it in the last 4 years is we will release that once that investigation is complete, and once that part of the process is done. If you think about any other criminal case, we never release evidence before that time.
See, and then when you got people in here like Chaos. Now, I got to address Chaos. Normally, I would have let this comment go. But in this situation, I just couldn't. I bit the fucking bone. And this is what we're going to do. Chaos says the officer deserves a statue. Because it was a black baby. The officer unalived a black baby, and now Chaos is saying that the officer deserves a statue. This is where we're at in America right now. This is where we're at. We have motherfuckers like Chaos. Shit is crazy.
So we try to treat this the same. We also want to make sure that all witnesses that come forward do it to the best of their recollection. And sometimes when you release that evidence early, witnesses don't want to come forward because they feel like the case is closed at that point. And we feel like it's the best policy to do that once the investigation is complete.
Raven Copeland with Channel 3. Raven Copeland with Channel 3. Raven Copeland with Channel 3. I'm sorry.
Can you tell me how many videos you suspect you have of gun harm on? Can't hear you, sir.
You said Floyd got one. That's where we're at. Who did George Floyd kill? Name me one person George Floyd killed. Murderers don't get statues, man. What are you talking about? He's a murderer. He's a murderer. If Carmelo Anthony, if y'all want to call Carmelo a murderer, this cop that just shot this 1-year-old baby is a fucking murderer. He's a murderer.
He's asking about the different types of video that we expect are available. We always retrieve any body cam footage, dash cam footage. Of course, this happened at a Walmart, and Walmart does have a highly sophisticated level of security cameras and systems, and we will work with Walmart to make sure that we obtain every piece of evidence that they have as far as security footage.
Raven Copeland with Channel 3. What's the status of the officer involved in this shooting? Is he placed on suspension, on leave? Are there calls for him to be fired? What's the latest with that?
Well, I can tell you again, we conduct the officer involved.
When you shoot inside of a car, what do you think is going to happen? Isn't that what y'all said about Carmelo? When you stab someone in the heart, what do you think's going to... Well, when you shoot into a fucking car with babies in there, what do you think's going to happen? Huh? What do you think's going to happen? What was it, a 9 or 40? You shoot a 40 or a 9 through the front windshield of a damn car, and you tell me what's going to happen. What do you think's going to happen? Cut it out.
Shooting part of the investigation. Each agency in the state, when these incidents happen, have an opportunity to do their own internal affairs investigation, internal analysis of what happens, and ultimately make those decisions. I can tell you it's very, very routine, and it would be quite unusual that an officer after an incident like this would not be put on some sort of administrative leave, at least for a short amount of time, but often for an extended amount of time.
There's information online talking about this officer's past, saying that he had a kind of a shady past. Is there anything you can kind of clear up or elaborate on it concerning the officer and his history with the public at various jobs?
Not that we would have.
And then you got people in here like Sonic. These are your neighbors, chat. These people right here are the people that you work alongside of, that you go to work with, that you invite over to play and shit. There goes her tax credit. He thinks that this 1-year-old baby is worth nothing more than a fucking tax credit. Be aware, chat. Be aware. These are your neighbors. These are your employers. These are your cashiers, man. Be aware.
I mean, I can tell you the Board of Law Enforcement Officer Standards and Training is housed at the Department of Public Safety. They oversee the certificates of officers. Reviewing this officer's history, there's nothing in the file that would indicate any such problems.
Paula Burris, community activist out of Memphis, Tennessee. On this day, in the time leading up to this incident, has anyone been arrested or has there been a police report made for shoplifting?
I'm not going to.
Now look at Sonic. You ain't my neighbor. I wouldn't like that. Well, I don't like you in here. Everybody tell Sonic good night. We'll see him in this bitch. Never. He's not invited back over here. And I'm not gonna wish anything bad upon him. But yeah, good night, Sonic. Get the fuck out.
I'm not gonna again get any specifics of the investigation at this point. That's all part of the ongoing investigation. I can tell you NBI is conducting that as well as getting witness statements, and so I cannot answer that at this point.
Are you able to speak to the policy that officers follow when it comes to pursuing an alleged shoplifter or any type of crime? What is that policy?
And again, that is something department by department that is established. And just to give you an example, we oversee 900 law enforcement officers at the Department of Public Safety, the largest of which is the Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol might have a different pursuit policy than Jackson PD, for example.
What is this pursuit policy for this scene?
I don't know the pursuit policy for here in Senatobia, and I can tell you that's also one of the things that a policy violation would be much different than a criminal or violation and one in which we would really be taking a deep analysis of, but we will look at that. And it's one of those things that across the board, it takes time. Again, this happened on Sunday. We got to gather a lot of that evidence, and it doesn't just happen as quick as everybody wants it to. I understand that, but I cannot allow expediency to overtake the quality of the work that we're expected to do in these types of cases.
What would you say to the public to reassure them? Because a lot of them obviously are angry today, or passionate, upset, hurt. There's a lot of feeling. So what is the direct message you would have to
Why
them?
y'all keep lynching us in our babies?
Again, and I understand the frustrations. I mean, I've seen this happen in other communities across the state. That's why I'm here. Is to answer these types of questions so that everybody can understand the process that we're going through. And again, understand that our goal is to ultimately be transparent in our investigation so that everybody can take a look at that. And if the wrong conclusions ultimately reached, then those decisions will be looked at and reviewed and scrutinized by the public. And that's how transparency creates accountability.
Everyone double tap that screen, shut the live out chat. We are 6 subscribers away from the next sub goal. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We go live every single night over here at 10 p.m. Central Time.
Sir, can you give us your name and your title again?
Sure. My name is Sean Tyndall, Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. It's spelled S-E-A-N, last name Tyndall, T-I-N-D-E-L-L.
When can we expect another update from you and your department?
Give it time. We'll see as the situation evolves. There might be an additional update. There might not be any.
Now you talking about low IQ person in the background shows you where you get your smart. Shut the hell up, Sostansky. And then when you ain't Sostansky, your opinion doesn't matter. That woman back there is telling the fucking truth. What was a lynching? A public execution. What the fuck just went on outside of Walmart? A public execution. Well, didn't they just find somebody hanging from some trees down there in Mississippi? Literally? I don't even like using the word literally because it's some low IQ shit. The fuck are we talking about?
I can't tell you. We're going to see how the investigation is proceeding.
You'll let us know if there's not going to be any more updates, won't you?
It's not. They don't have a policy. They just kill the black people. That's it. Ain't no
You should come out and let us know that you won't be putting out any more updates so that we don't think that you're ignoring us. Ma'am, you want to keep the violence down, right?
Well, listen.
They don't have a policy.
Just make a statement.
No, I'm going to tell you.
Whenever you're not going to investigate anymore or make any more. No, ma'am, nothing.
I'm going to tell you.
You want violence
I'm going to give an update if there's something
non-violent. You need to tell the people every step in your investigation. If you're not going to say anything else to the public, it would be nice to know that.
I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to say anything else.
Not today. I mean, when you make that decision. Don't sit there and be quiet. I'm done with this bullshit. How long do I'm going to Walmart because I'm having a Walmart.
I've been in contact with the Attorney General's office, and I can tell you that we're going to try to work on this as quickly as we can because we do understand the importance for this community. But we also, again, I do not want expediency to be done at the expense of the quality of the investigation.
I understand. All things considered, the depth of the situation, a young child.
It's very tragic. It's heartbreaking.
Will this be made a priority?
It is a priority. It's an absolute priority.
For the relief of the families.
And I will say this to that end. We have an incident assistance coordinator that has been in contact with.
This shit crazy, bro. This shit, it's like, then you got motherfuckers like McKenzie coming here talking about acting stupid, all this, but never get upset about black on black crime, the largest threat to black. Same thing. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Y'all don't say shit. You get upset about the Epstein files, but you don't say nothing to Billy Bob that's been touching your niece and shit since fucking kindergarten. You don't say shit about that. You know your nasty ass nephew got some C-spam on his phone right now. You still go fishing with him and do all kind of shit. Don't come in here tonight on that shit. I'm on one. Don't come in here tonight on that.
With their attorney, trying to make sure that from their perspective they have contact with our agency so that they too understand the process and the independence of this process. That's why we also reach out to the families in this situation that have had a loved one impacted by that particular interaction.
Have to get on your ass, man. Let's get into this JD Vance shit before I get hot and bothered in this motherfucker, man. Let's get in this JD Vance, man. change the tune a little bit.
All right.
Prayers to that family. We'll be watching that case and covering it closely, especially when the footage is actually released.
Good morning, everybody. Nothing to talk about. Slow news day here in Washington, D.C. So let me just say a couple of things off the bat. First of all, I think the president's peace plan in Iran is already bearing real fruits for the American people. Last night, 12.5 million barrels of oil went through the Strait of Hormuz. That is a high since the beginning of the conflict. Oil prices are down nearly at their level from the pre-war conflict. Gas prices dropped below $4 a gallon today for the first time since the conflict. And importantly, they're going to keep falling further given how low oil prices are. On the military side, the Iranians, for the second night in a row, did not shoot at any ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
So since the ceasefire negotiations are stalled because Netanyahu keeps bombing Lebanon and he doesn't give a damn, has Iran announced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz again? Have they closed it again? Because as of late this afternoon, Iran said all of the ceasefire shit, it's over with. They're done negotiating. That 60-day negotiation shit is over with. So are they going to close the Strait of Hormuz again?
So far, they are honoring their end of the commitment. And on the blockade, CENTCOM has allowed north of a dozen ships to go through our naval blockade, and so we're also honoring our end of the early part of the agreement.
That's the thing, Miss Bones. They don't think that 1-year-old baby is innocent. You're arguing with a brick wall, Miss Bones. They don't see that 1-year-old baby as human. They don't see that. They see that 1-year-old baby as a damn tax credit, man. You're arguing with some people that don't understand. They have no moral compass. They have no morals. They have no morals.
On the military side, a couple of things that are still true and will be true whether the Iranians comply with the rest of the deal or not. Number one, their nuclear program has been completely destroyed. Their capacity for enrichment, the facilities at which they were using to develop enrichment and develop a potential nuclear weapon, those facilities are still destroyed. Their conventional military is still destroyed. Their capacity to threaten their neighbors is still largely gone. And now we see whether they are willing to comply with the next step of the president's peace plan. As you all know, the part of the peace plan, the part of this MOU that I think have been most misrepresented by certain parts of the media is the idea that the Iranians get all these benefits. You will hear things about
Carlos, you did say that this peace deal wouldn't make it till Friday. Carlos, you did call it.
about $300 billion or $24 billion or this or that number of money or amount of money. And the simple fact is that the only way the Iranians get any of those resources, not a single penny, by the way, from the United States of America under any circumstances, but the only way.
Then you come here talking about it's wild how uneducated and delusional Americans are. Why are you in our business then? The fuck you? What you in our business for?
That they would ever get any benefit of the bargain is if they comply fully and change their behavior. And so you really have a win-win situation for the United States of America. If the Iranians don't change their behavior, their military and their nuclear program is still destroyed. If they do change their behavior, then they are going to have a transformative relationship with the Middle East, and the Middle East will have a transformative relationship with the people of Iran. That's a win for the American people and for the President of the United States, regardless of which option the Iranians ultimately choose. We obviously want them to choose the right option. The interesting thing about their system, and I think it's important for the American people to.
That's the thing, chat. Like, I don't think Americans don't call any other country like delusional and uneducated. Now, they get on Africa and shit. Probably about Africa's probably the only continent full of countries that they get on it about. But America just doesn't. Everybody talks about how delusional, uneducated, oblivious that Americans are. And I'm sitting here like, and nigga, so fucking what? Oh, okay. Like, what do you want me to say to that? This shit is crazy.
Appreciate this point in particular is that they're
and then think they know America. That's the crazy part. You be like, you don't know what's going on in my country. Right. And you don't know what the fuck it's like in America, man. Yes, then came over here on what do they call that shit? Not vacation. What do they call that shit? I I forgot, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Your ass done came over here for a minute and think you got it, man. Listen, I'm going to tell you like this, man. How y'all float through countries and shit, maybe not the big-ass countries like Canada, but how y'all float through countries and shit over there in Europe, that's how we float through states, man. How y'all countries are different when you go in them. That's how states are in America. I don't think y'all know that. I truly think y'all are oblivious and ignorant to the fucking fact that, yes, this is the United States of America, but every fucking state is different. Every state has their own views. Most states have different values, different state foods and flags and shit. I don't think y'all realize that.
There are real divisions within their country about how exactly to proceed. And what we've seen over the last couple of months is that the pragmatists within the Iranian system, the people who really do want to transform their relationship with the Middle East and with the world, those people are winning the argument. The United States wants those people to win the argument. The United States wants to have a better relationship, but in order for that to happen, the Iranians have to perform. And if they don't perform, as we've said before, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. So what I'd ask all of you is just to report honestly that the United States isn't giving up a cent of money to Iran, and even the economic benefits, the sanctions relief and so forth that comes along with this bargain only happens if the Iranians perform. So with that, I want to say thanks to all.
What's so great about America is that the median income in America puts you in the top 10% in the world. That's what's so great about America. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's one of the many things. Average American salary puts you in the top 10% in the world. Straight up.
All of you, it's good to be with you this morning, and I'll kick it over to questions. Let's start right over here to the right.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I wanted to ask a follow-up on something you just mentioned. You talked about the possibility of the current Iranian leadership fundamentally changing their behavior. Do you think that the current Iranian leadership recognizes the leverage that the U.S. holds over itself economically and militarily enough to actually go forth with fundamentally changing their behavior over the long term and going about things differently?
So I certainly think they recognize the leverage that the United States has over them. We've seen that in a number of our conversations. We've seen that just in their behavior over the last couple of days. They certainly recognize that the United States has great leverage. Will that ultimately lead to a change in behavior? I don't know. I've seen skeptics of the deal. People say the Iranians will never change their behavior. Well, maybe that's true. And if so, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain.
All right, chat. So, in your opinion, I want y'all to, in your opinion, who won this war? Who won this war? We know it's still ongoing as of today, but who won at that timestamp of the ceasefire and the peace deal? Who do y'all have winning? Everyone double tap the screen, shut the live out. We have to get the likes up as well, chat, and we're still 3 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Let's get to the next sub goal and keep going, chat.
But isn't it worth trying? Isn't it worth seeing whether this incredibly weakened position that the President of the United States has put the Iranians under, whether that motivates them to change their behavior, not just vis-a-vis the West, but vis-a-vis the Middle East? And one of the interesting things about this is, the technical details of this we can, of course, get into. There are going to be any number of opinions about the negotiation, about where it's ultimately going to go. But I tend to think that you should trust the people who know the Iranians the best and who have the most to lose. What are the Gulf Arab states saying about this deal? What are they saying about this deal compared to the JCPOA in 2015? This is the Obama nuclear deal. Well, back then, they hated that deal. They felt like it empowered the Iranians to be bad actors across the region. And of course, that's exactly what happened. They were right about that. What are they saying?
Then why are you giving them $300 billion? For what? For what? They're so bad. They're doing this. Why is Trump letting them keep making ballistic missiles? And why are they getting $300 billion? Oh my God. $300 billion to this country that they swear is so horrible and will do these treacherous things, and you're going to let them keep having ballistics. Knowing that they're going to do the deal with China. Knowing that China just dropped that hypersonic coming in at right under $100,000. They're making a commercial, a private company, $100,000 hypersonic missile made of concrete, and now Trump's like, oh, well, fuck it. We'll just let them have ballistics. We'll give them $300 billion. Reparations, restitution, reconstruction, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This shit is crazy.
About the president's peace deal, they're saying,
and I don't care who's paying it. Americans, I don't care who's paying it. If they're so bad, why the fuck are they getting money? I don't care who's paying it.
This is an amazingly transformative thing for the region because either way, we and the broader region win. Iran is weakened, their nuclear program destroyed, their economy in desperate straits, and if they change their behavior, big things are going to happen for Iran.
Now here we go. You do understand there's two sides to a deal. Yes, I do, but I thought we were standing on fucking business. What happened to all of that? What happened to all of this? Oh, Trump's standing on business. He's finally standing up with the world superpower. We're going to crush through everything. What happened to that shit? It sounding real timid now, sounding like it's some fucking concessions being made. Now, what happened to all of that shit, you warmongers? What happened to all of that shit? Where the fuck did that go? Shit is crazy.
If they don't, no skin off our backs. Either way, we win, and that's the way the president has set up this deal and this negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice
Yep.
President. Just a quick housekeeping question, which I think you answered in your topper, but did the 60-day period officially begin yesterday?
I would say the 60-day period officially started today. It was signed late, and it may have even been signed technically, because of the time shift. I think it's signed technically today, Iran time. So, yes, the deal...
Support who? Man, I don't support no fucking body, man. When people do good shit, I congratulate them. But as far as blind support, no. If you think you above this shit, man, I call my damn self out. What the fuck I look like not calling these people? I call my motherfucking self out. What are we talking about here, man? Ain't nobody above the program, man. Ain't nobody above this shit.
Started yesterday. We're going to start the 60-day clock today. Go ahead.
Can you help us understand President Trump's shift on his stance for Iran's ballistic missile program? Initially, it was a key objective to dismantle it. Yesterday, he said it would only be fair if they had some, if the countries around Iran also had some. So when and why did that change? And will the final agreement have any restrictions on these missiles?
So we destroyed a substantial number.
You said, I guess destroying all of their military capabilities is not standing on business? No. Hell no. What are we talking about here, man? We just heard Trump say we was 4 weeks away from running out of oil. Our strategic oil reserves were at the lowest point it's been fucking since they started counting this shit. What are we talking about here? Let's cut it out. Cut it out. Hell no, that's not it. That's not standing on business, man. Standing on business. Y'all know what the fuck standing on business would have been. The world would have never been the same. What the fuck are we talking about?
Of their ballistic missiles and their ballistic missile launchers themselves. It's not just the bullets, but it's the actual gun. And that's what we were extremely effective at in destroying during the last 3 months of the campaign. All the president said yesterday is...
You said, what would you have done then? Letting Netanyahu, the ass that hung his ass out to dry? If it was me, hey, listen, the Netanyahu strikes were imminent. Them motherfuckers would have just been imminent, man. Your ass on your own. Your ass on your own, man. Straight up. What would Plug have done? Nothing. I would have sat the fuck back and watched Netanyahu and them handle what they handle. That shit's in the Middle East, man. Whatever's good, let that shit play out how it play out, man.
Is that, of course... countries don't give up the right.
Party guy comes in talking about, bruh, stop being a dumb shit. Stop watching this shit. Swipe up on the live, nigga. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? You can't swipe up on the live. You couldn't leave if you wanted to, nigga.
Of self-defense. Israel doesn't give up the right of self-defense if Hezbollah fires rockets or drones at Israel. The Iranians don't give up the right of self-defense in their country, but we do expect that as part of the final deal, they are not going to be able to build the kind of missiles that can broadly threaten the entire world. And that's what the President of the United States said yesterday. And look, I mean, it's very simple. You can't tell a country...
And look, chat, y'all see that Raheed right there with the damn Sprite bottle picture? That's my blood cousin I was telling y'all about, and I took his fucking mind wrench because he don't be coming in here a lot. I see him every day. I love him to death. He got my back in real life. But when it comes to this shit right here, what we building over here, man, ain't nobody above this shit. Man, ain't nobody a buddy. I took my blood cousin Maya Wrench, and he ain't here right now. Tato, comment so they can see your dry ass name without the blue marker, man.
Whether Israel or Iran, they're not allowed to have any self-defense. That's not what the president has asked. That's not what the president has requested. But as part of the final deal, what we want to see is Iran not funding regional instability, funding regional terrorism, and of course trying to rebuild their nuclear weapons program. That's the main thing. The nuclear weapons program is destroyed. It is gone. If the Iranians decided tomorrow to build a nuclear weapon, they simply don't have the capacity in order to do that. What we're trying to ensure is they don't rebuild that capacity, not just a year from now, 2 years from now, but many, many years from now, so that our children never have to worry about a state sponsor of terrorism having a nuclear weapon.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You were just saying that you're hoping this deal would prevent Iran in the future from getting a nuclear weapon. But from what's been put out there of the MOU, I'm curious how does the MOU reflect that?
Oh, he over here, Chad. I told y'all, this my blood cousin. He's here right now. Still ain't got no Maya Wrench, man.
In the future, Iran will not, in fact, get a nuclear weapon. What's stopping them from down the road, to your point, rebuilding and restarting from where we were pre the war?
Well, number one, they would have to get a lot of money in order to rebuild their nuclear program. You're talking about billions and billions of nuclear infrastructure that the United States destroyed. In order for them to rebuild that program, they would have to get a lot of money. And we have them in an economic chokehold right now that we're not going to release until they fundamentally change their behavior. What would that look like? That would mean a real inspections regime. That would mean a real enforcement regime. As the MOU contemplates, that would mean the destruction of their enriched stockpile. All of these things are the sorts of steps you're going to take if you're serious about ending your nuclear weapons program. And that, again, is why I go back to this fundamental trade that's built into the deal. They need money to do anything. Their economy is in absolute dire straits. But in order for them to get any integration into the world economy, they're going to have to show us and verify for us that they...
Next, you notice that too, JD is making his rounds. He was on The View. He's doing the White House press conference. He was just on Diary of a CEO. And he did one more interview. I forgot. JD's making his rounds. But you notice that JD was not doing anything until the peace deal. Until they were close to the peace deal, talking about, oh, it's going to be signed Friday. It's going to be this. It's going to be at the G7. It's going to be, yeah. Right around that time is when JD stuck his motherfucking head out. Like, hey, look, I'm here. I'm the VP. I'm doing a press tour. And now it's fucking backfired. It fucking backfired because Netanyahu didn't want to stick to the program. Netanyahu didn't want to stick to the program. Peace deal's over. Or the market's got to react. Oil prices were just going down. Now the market's going to react. And whose face is everywhere right now? Fucking JD Vance.
They are changing their behavior, and that's why the deal is set up in the way that it is. Go ahead.
President Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks of the round go sideways. Are you worried that he's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking, but as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians.
Stop fucking playing all the time, bro. I'm tired of seeing these people fucking play. All you do is run around and play all day, man. We're talking about Iran and negotiations. We're talking about fucking oil futures and shit, man. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz right here, man. We're talking about over 200 school children, man. What are we? And you sit here talking about tough negotiations with Whoopi Goldberg and them, man. Cut it the fuck. I'm tired of this shit, bro. I'm tired of this shit, bro.
And she and I are best friends now, so we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world. Go ahead.
Thank you. A couple of just timing questions. How soon, as the MOU lays out, can Iran start selling any of its oil that has sort of been impounded, right, with the blockade? And two, can you sort of explain the Lebanon component to the MOU and how that front works in the enforcement?
Man, all this trying to be cool shit is over with, bro. We don't want that no more, bro. Stop trying to be fucking cool, man. Trump, stop trying to be cool. JD, stop trying to be cool. Hegseth, all that cool. Cash, all that cool shit, cut it out. Cut it out, man. Cut all that cool shit out, man. God dang.
Yeah, so the Lebanon component, this is about regional peace, right? This is about regional peace. And what that means is we expect Hezbollah is not going to be firing rockets and firing drones at the Israelis. And we also expect that the Israelis are not going to be going wild in Lebanon, right? Both sides have to honor their end of the deal. Now, as you guys know, sometimes these ceasefires are a little messy. The President of the United States said this a couple of weeks ago, that a ceasefire in that region of the world just means they're shooting a little bit less at each other than they were before. What you've seen is radical progress in Lebanon, less shooting, less firing, but you're still going to have these little flare-ups from time to time, and that's just the sort of thing that we're...
Yeah, in Lebanon. See, that's what they're saying. They're trying to distinguish Lebanon from South Lebanon. You see how he's saying, oh, what's going on in Lebanon? What about South Lebanon, man? What about South Lebanon? Nobody's fucking there anymore, is it? The people, and they're still pushing. See, those are the games that they play with the way they frame this shit, man. When he says Lebanon, we just automatically think he's talking about all South Lebanon too. No, that's not what he's talking about.
We're going to have to manage through the diplomatic process. Secretary Rubio's been sort of the person on point. It's actually worked out extraordinarily well because we do have substantially less shooting, but it's going to be something we have to manage. And eventually what we want to see is the Lebanese government, the elected representatives of the people of Lebanon, who are able to police southern Lebanon so that Hezbollah has not taken over the country, the Israelis are not threatened, and then consequently the Israelis are not attacking southern Lebanon or Beirut either. That's the plan there. You asked about the Iranian oil. Look, one of the interesting things that is...
Okay, now he mentioned southern Lebanon. Okay, JD. Okay, but you see how he separated it. So now he said southern Lebanon and Beirut. So that's what I was telling y'all. Like, they differentiate between the shit. It's kind of like Memphis and West Memphis. Like, when you think about Memphis and West Memphis and shit, West Memphis is in Arkansas. Memphis is in Tennessee. Shit's different.
You've seen is that the Iranians have been completely unable to sell oil, not because of sanctions, but because of the blockade. Fundamentally, the thing that we have done here, the original, what we give, what they give, is that we said we're going to lift the blockade, we're going to allow you to sell some of your oil, and they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. We see that process starting to work already. It's going to take a little time before it picks up fully, but that's where we are today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The MOU, just on the Strait, the MOU guarantees these 60 days of toll-free passage, but after that it is, of course, led to a regional dialogue with Oman and Iran deciding the future governance of the Strait. A senior U.S. official told us yesterday that they expect Iran to push aggressively on this, but also that Gulf states won't allow any kind of tolls. How strenuously will the U.S. fight to keep tolls out of the Strait and keep any fees away from the future Strait commercial traffic? And are you going to leave it to the Gulf states to kind of fight this battle?
Well, first of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course.
Listen, when I say cut all this cool shit out, let me give y'all a little monologue to tell y'all what I mean. Cut all of this cool shit out because you're not relatable. All of this cool shit, trying to use the terms, trying to be, seen as the average person, they're so far gone. These are the kind of people that are eating $1 million plates at Mar-a-Lago. They're not like you. Stop trying to make them like you, man. All of that, cut it out, man. Just tell us like it is. I'm damn near ready to go back to the C-SPAN shit. I'm damn near ready for the C-SPAN era to come back where politicians just did the politician shit. Fuck. Cut it out. They're not like us, man.
Of course, in the 60 days of the MOU. And when you say it leaves it open, it doesn't really leave it open, except in the sense that, of course, the final negotiation is going to set the terms of what comes afterwards, right? You said, I think that it's the Omanis and the Iranians, but it's actually the MOU contemplates that the Omanis, the Iranians, and the Gulf Coast Coalition together will figure out a proper security framework for the straits in the future. And what I mean by that is that we don't ever want this to happen again. Right? That's not about tolling. That's about ensuring that the straits are never used as a choke point for the global economy ever again. It's frankly not what the Iranians want. It's not what the Omanis want. It's not what the GCC wants either. So what we're going to do, of course, working with our allies in the region, is to ensure that that is reflected in the final deal. And if that's not reflected in the final deal, there's not going to be a final deal. And that is, I keep coming back to this fundamental structural point of this negotiation, which is that we have all the cards. If the Iranians want the benefits of the bargain, they have to give us the things that are necessary to get those benefits. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
We'll do both. Okay. Both you guys. There's one in the white and then one in, orange, I think.
What about the pink?
Chat, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We go live every single night over here at 10 p.m. Central Time, talking politics, current event, and entertainment, man. We're also 25 likes away from the next like goal. Be sure to double tap that screen on your way in.
I'm sorry? Okay. Maybe I'm colorblind. It looks more orange to me. I don't want to have a debate about that. Orange, pinkish. You go first, and then in front of you can go second.
President, thank you, Mr. Vice President. How does the points about granting some immediate waivers on sanctions, especially from the Treasury Department, how does that square with the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act? And are you planning on briefing Congress on this portion?
Yeah, so I talked to James Braid, our head of OLA. We do plan to brief Congress very soon. I believe that they got the formal copy of the signed document this morning, and if not, they're going to get it at some point later today. We are planning a briefing. I believe right now the House is out of session, the Senate is in session, though maybe I've reversed that. But we're going to ensure that the team briefs Congress and, of course, answers their questions. We've been doing that informally, of course, talking to a number of people in Congress just over the last week. We'll keep on doing that, and we'll have a formal briefing. I won't say exactly when that will be because it depends a little bit about session schedule. Your point about the sanctions is I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is really the choke point on Iranian oil was never the sanctions. We didn't see that as a major concession to the Iranians. Frankly, the Iranians didn't see that as a concession to them because what prevented them from selling oil was not the sanctions. They were selling plenty of oil without any discount because the sanctions were just fundamentally ineffective at that point. What the sanctions did do is move the Iranian financial system to sort of the shadow banking system. So by lifting the blockade, that's the significant thing that has changed. And by lifting the sanctions, we're actually going to be able to see a little bit where their financial system actually sends money and receives money. That's a real benefit to the American people. And that's really the only thing that has changed by the change in sanctions. Oh, sorry, I forgot that part of the question. No, we don't think so. We actually have an opinion from OLC we feel quite confident about that, Congress does, there are certain things that require congressional approval. There are certain things that don't require congressional approval. We feel quite confident that we can temporarily lift those sanctions without going to Congress and seeking their approval on that.
Apparently, there's been reports coming out of Israel that Iran is already funneling oil money to Hezbollah even before this particular MOU was signed. And how exactly?
So do y'all think Iran is gonna continue to funnel oil money? Do y'all think Iran is and will continue to funnel oil money to Hezbollah? Yes or no, man? Do y'all think Iran will continue to support Hezbollah?
Is the U.S. looking at this? If we're talking about behavior on part of Iran, October 7th happened. And if there's concern that perhaps Hezbollah could end up doing some sort of attack on that scale, then, how exactly are we talking about the reaction from the United States if we're talking about perhaps a humongous scale attack that actually could happen? Are we waiting for that type of attack? I mean, what exactly is a scale here?
Sorry, you said what exactly is a scale?
Well, I mean, what type of attack would it take to actually get a reaction from the United States to say, okay, now we're actually going to start dropping bombs on Iran for having bad behavior?
Well, we don't want a scale of any attack. Any attack, whatever its scale, is unacceptable under this agreement. Now, you asked the question saying that oil money was flowing to Hezbollah before the MOU was signed. And it's one of the reasons why we are actually engaged in this process is to ensure that no money is flowing to Hezbollah. So it's interesting where people will say that the MOU is bad because the MOU produces consequences that were actually happening well before the MOU was signed. That's not a reflection on the MOU, that's a reflection of why we need the MOU to ensure that we have the regional peace and stability that we need. Now, what I would say to some of the critics of the deal that I've heard that will say, well, Iran's going to get all this benefit. I'll repeat what I've said, and I'm probably going to have to repeat it a number of times, is what is the benefit that the Iranians get that they didn't have before? And the answer is nothing. They don't get anything unless they change their behavior. If they change their behavior, that is a thing to celebrate. That's going to transform the Middle East for a generation. If they don't change their behavior, they don't get the benefit of the bargain. And I think, I got to be honest, I think fundamentally this idea that...
Bro, does he think he's cooking right here? It sounds like some bullshit to me. What do they get? They get nothing. And if they change, then they deserve it.
And it's a misrepresentation of the MOU. This idea that the Iranians get all these benefits before the deal is actually consummated. The idea that they get benefits before they change their behavior is fundamentally a talking point that is issued by people who want the conflict to continue indefinitely, despite the fact that that's not good for the American people and it's not good for the region. Way in the back.
So what's the generation? 20 years? So if we're going to break down what he says is that if they're going to cooperate, it's going to be beneficial to an entire generation. A generation is about 20 years. So it's looking like this $300 billion reconstruction plan will play out over the next 20 years. That's what it sounds like to me. Right.
All the way back in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President.
Mr. Vice President.
Red here, you mean? Are you
Red.
We'll do, okay, sorry.
Thank you. I'm wearing bright red.
So many people are wearing red. You can go first. Kara, right?
Thank you, Kara.
Okay, and then next after that.
Okay, great. Could you highlight the major differences between this deal and President Obama's deal in 2015 and why the administration believes that this deal is superior? And second, Mr. Vice President, President Trump has been vocal lately about his disapproval for Bibi Netanyahu's attacks on Lebanon. Has the administration spoken to Bibi Netanyahu directly about the president's concerns recently, and what is the feedback from Israel?
Yeah, so we speak to Bibi or speak to somebody in the Israeli government, just as we speak to the Gulf Coast Coalition, our regional partners, pretty much every day, at least at some high level of our government. Look, the president's been very clear. He does not withdraw from Israel. No one could withdraw from another country the right of self-defense. Israel has the right to defend itself. But fundamentally, the Israelis, just like everybody else, have to respect this.
Yeah, a generation is 20 years. They say 20 to 30, but shit, 20 years on the low end, yes.
Peace process that is fundamentally good for them and good for the entire region. What the president has grown frustrated sometimes is that we seem to be right on the cusp of a major breakthrough in the agreement, and then all of a sudden there's a major explosion that goes off in a civilian population center in Beirut, and a lot of people who have nothing to do with Hezbollah lose their lives. That's not acceptable. That's the sort of thing that we...
They say there have been shorter generations. When you talk about social generations, they say millennials are generally considered to be born between 81 and 96. That's a 15-year period, while the greatest generation spanned about 26 years. So 15 has been the shortest, 26 has been the longest. So I guess that's why they say a generation is 20 years. So it sounded like this: restitution, reparation, reconstruction, whatever you want to call it, is going to be paid out over the next 20 years.
We've asked for closer coordination so that we ensure it doesn't happen. And our message to the Israelis, just as our message to everybody else, is fundamentally, we want this peace process to be good for you. We do not want Hezbollah attacking Israel, but in order to ensure that that happens, we have got to actually build the kind of regional framework that can cut off the money to Hezbollah, cut off Iranian support for Hezbollah, and also ensure that Lebanon's territorial sovereignty is respected by all parties. And the difference...
You said, why did I focus on the time frame? Because after they receive all of their reparations and benefits, what incentive do they have to not go back to doing what they were doing? he's saying as long as they behave, they will get this. So you can infer that they're going to string out the payments. We have the $300 billion number. He says as long as they behave, they get it. So he said this will keep a generation safe, or it will help a generation. That's why the time period matters, because after the time period, the allotted time period is up, all the reparations, reconstruction, or restitution has been paid. What incentive do they have to abide by what's been going on?
Difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences.
What's up, Trav?
Are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program, we're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well.
So they don't have the enriched uranium yet. They don't have the centrifuges. They don't know if the centrifuges are destroyed. They did take out a lot of their top nuclear scientists. So that's where I believe they're laying their basis on, we destroyed your nuclear program. It's because of the people. They were doing those targeted strikes on the nuclear scientists. But as far as the centrifuges and the stockpile, I mean, I think they still have those.
The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal. No, sorry. I said the other, all the way in the back. Thank you.
Margaret with the Daily Wire. The president has said that if Iran doesn't behave themselves, we're going to resume military action. So what is the red line for what Iran can do before they cross that red line and we do resume the military?
See, this is the thing. When y'all say stuff like, Didi says the USA is crippled, they've used 1/3 of the Patriot missiles. Man, did you not see what Trump tested off the coast of California when this shit was cracking off? Hey, man, they can run out of all the Patriot missiles, damn near. If Trump let that shit he got off over there, man, if Trump let that shit, they said it's 20 Hiroshimas. 20 Hiroshimas, man. All the Patriot missiles, man, they put them 20 Hiroshimas, man. That's going to change the world. Everybody knows what Trump has over there, man. 20 Hiroshimas. That should buy enough time to build some more Patriots.
Military action.
Well, it's going to be a holistic approach where we look at their behavior. Are they funding terrorism? Are they leading to attacks of other people? Are they trying to get centrifuges to redevelop their nuclear weapons program? There are all these questions that we're going to ask about whether they've actually changed their behavior. Do they allow the inspectors in as they have promised that they would do, or do they refuse to allow those inspectors in? A whole host of things we're going to see. We're working towards a very successful resolution of this process. But again, it takes two to tango. And what the president's just saying is that we maintain economic, diplomatic.
Yeah, that's the thing. You say China got it too, but who's gonna, man, listen. If Trump let a nuke off right now, who gonna do something? I'm honestly asking. Who's gonna do something? India and Pakistan only said as long as it's not pointed at them. I don't think Putin's gonna get involved. Not with America. I think China gonna let to hang them out to dry. Kim Jong-un just worried about not getting taken out. Who's gonna do something? Yeah, didn't nobody do nothing last time.
And military leverage that nobody else in the world has. So if the Iranians want to change, great. We're going to help them. If they don't change, we still got all the cards. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. In the blue jacket. Yep.
This one right here. This one right here, Mr. Vice President.
That's a Navy jacket. Should we have a debate about the difference between blue and Navy? Not that guy, because you give a speech whenever you ask a question. I'm going to give her an opportunity.
Sir, have you seen the Pope's reaction to this?
Hold on. Guys, you're speaking over the person who's asking the question.
There's been a lot of frustrations with Americans, particularly about the gas prices. You touted the fact that they're coming down. The president has gone on True Social touting this. But when should they expect to see gas reach that $3 threshold?
Well, I'm not an economist, and I think even the economists would get this wrong, but the fact that you've seen gas come down about 65 cents a gallon on the national average, and the fact that you see oil prices that are basically close to where they were at the very beginning of the conflict.
You saying this 20 years ago, who's gonna do something? I see y'all saying depending on where at. You're correct. But we know the topic of conversation right now, Iran. They dropped 20 Hiroshimas on Iran right now. Who the fuck is gonna save them? Who's gonna do something? I don't want it to happen. I'm just honestly asking a question. Y'all, somebody said everyone's gonna get involved. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Conflict. I think you're going to see a substantial reduction in gas prices. I'm not going to predict the exact price. If I was able to do that, I might be in a different business than politics. But we do think you're going to see significant relief at the pump on top of what we've already seen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You keep saying that Iran will only reap economic rewards if they comply and change their behavior. But under this deal, they are being allowed now to sell their oil freely. Again, how is that not a financial benefit? And they're being allowed to do that without making any new concrete nuclear commitments. So can you explain how is that not lopsided?
Well, first of all, they've made very concrete nuclear commitments. They have committed to the destruction of the highly enriched stockpile that they have in their possession. But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict. The blockade is off. We put that in after the conflict started.
Here you go. Go back to smoking your joint, stupid. This is out of your league. Well, listen, Kareem. I know you black because there's no white people named Kareem. So we gonna get your Kareem Abdul-Jabbar head ass up out of here, boy. Y'all say good night to Kareem. He won't be back around. He didn't know how to control himself. He's a little tired. It's a little late for him. So we'll just let him take his melatonin and head on to bed, man. Good night, Kareem.
The straits are now open. That's not a new benefit to the Iranians. They were selling oil for many, many years, well before we ever put the blockade.
Young Merc comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Happy Juneteenth, my fellow FBA. Happy Juneteenth, my boy, man. Happy Juneteenth, my fellow FBA brother.
We opposed that blockade. They stopped selling oil, and now we've lifted the blockade in order to promote the free flow of energy across the world. Go ahead.
A U.S. official described having secured some of these quote-unquote gentlemen's agreements with Iran on certain aspects of the negotiation. So when it comes to highly enriched uranium, can you walk us through what's been secured even in these gentlemen's agreements on how exactly they're going to get rid of the stockpile? Are there agreements on low-grade enrichment? How long is the moratorium on enriching uranium for Iran? And are any of these gentlemen's agreements written down anywhere?
So some of them are written down, but fundamentally, whether they're written down or spoken, this is why we structured the deal that we did, because we don't trust words. We trust action, and we trust conduct. And so we're going to reward conduct, and we're not going to reward any words, whether they're written on a sheet of paper or not. There's a lot of discussion, the MOU, the gentleman's agreements, the final deal. Words don't matter, ladies and gentlemen. We're about verification. And so what we're going to do is to say, if they do the things that they have promised to do, they have promised not to enrich. They have promised that they would allow inspectors in to destroy that highly enriched stockpile, and then of course it's not usable anymore, you take it somewhere else. They promised a number of things, and that's why the deal contemplates a number of benefits if they do those things. But it doesn't do anything if they don't actually meet those promises.
Go
ahead.
Follow up on that, sir.
Go ahead.
If they don't follow through with
Thanks, Dee. I hope you have a good night, Dee.
that commitment, will the
Thanks, Ms. Bones. Hope you have a good night, Ms. Bones. What's up, Heather?
U.S. go back to imposing sanctions and the blockade, or does Iran get to keep some of the concessions that it has already secured?
Well, first of all, the sanctions are still on with the exception of the oil sanctions, which I talked about were no longer effective. The purpose of the oil sanctions is to drive down how much Iran is charging for a price for a barrel of oil. Those sanctions had stopped being effective. The blockade is what's effective. And again, that's the thing that has changed in accordance with them opening the Strait of Hormuz. No sanctions will come off unless they perform the benefit of the bargain, and every sanction will come back on. Like hypothetically. Let's say 2 years down the road, they've done what we need to see on the nuclear program and we release the sanctions as the deal contemplates. Then they decide they're going to start rebuilding the nuclear program. Then, of course, those sanctions are going to come back on. And that's why it's really kind of like a dial. As they dial up their good behavior, we can dial up the economic relief. If they dial down their good behavior, we can turn it off. It's the good thing about having the leverage, and it's a good thing about being the United States of America, where we just fundamentally have so much influence in the world financial system. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Leader Thune said it's unrealistic to get the Save America Act passed by attaching it to FISA, which is what the president's looking for. Do you believe this is possible?
Well, why don't we try? Why don't we try and at least force people to vote against it? One of the things that sometimes frustrates me about the legislative process is that people will go into it saying, this isn't possible, therefore we're not even going to try. Well, let's actually see. Let's try it. And if it's not possible, then let the people put their name on it. This is also good for the American people. How many...
I'm going to be honest with you, Abba, they kind of are calling the shots. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. No, listen. Everybody knows Trump is off his rocker and he'll fucking push that button. Putin's probably ready to push that button too on Ukraine. Kim Jong-un said if anybody tries to do a targeted attack and take him out, he already got his shit. He put it in their constitution that they gotta drop nukes, man. Right now is a time in history to where it's a lot of people that'll push that fucking button. I just don't think people will push that button on behalf of Iran.
American senators know that the American people love the Save America Act because they believe in voter ID. But how many of those same senators don't want to vote for it because they know that the radical elements within their own party would punish them for it? Let people go on the record and actually answer to the American people, which is why I think we should do exactly as the president said. Rob. Rob.
On Monday, we were told the MOU will be published within 48 hours. The president then said after Friday. You, I think, then said by Friday, and then it ended up being read out on a briefing call yesterday. We were told the MOU had been signed electronically on Sunday. There was an Axios report that it hadn't been. There's going to be a signing ceremony on Friday, and then it signed at Versailles last night. Is what's going on behind the scenes as chaotic as your public messaging?
Well, I don't think our public messaging has been chaotic. I think dealing with a fractured Iranian system where communication isn't great is just sometimes something that we don't fully appreciate or we don't fully understand. What really happened here is that we did sign the MOU on Sunday. That locked into the terms of the deal. What the Iranians came to us and said is, we'd like not to release the text until Friday. I didn't really understand that. I wanted to get the text out immediately. But in order to be accommodating to them, we said, sure, okay, we'll wait until Friday. And
no, what was really going on was if they had Lebanon in the deal or not. That's what it was. Lebanon and South Lebanon was what was really going on. Yeah, because remember they came out and said it was reports coming out that Lebanon was involved in the deal. And then after Lebanon got attacked, and then Netanyahu said, hey, we're not going nowhere. We're not withdrawing our forces from these territories that we're occupying. They were like, oh, well, Lebanon's not in the deal anymore. Now it's coming out that, oh, Lebanon was in the deal. And now Iran has just ceased all negotiations. They're done at the talking table. It's on and cracking again. It was Lebanon.
And then what happened over Monday, Tuesday, the president was in G7, maybe foreign leaders were talking to the Iranians and encouraging them to do that. We were definitely saying to them, we understand your desire not to have the text out until Friday, but you know, we live in a democratic system. The American people want to see the text of this deal. We would certainly like to get it out as soon as possible. And so they came up with having their president sign it, our president sign it, and then just releasing the text as a signed document immediately at that point. I do wonder, Rob, just this is pure conjecture. I'm just guessing at this. I wonder if part of it is that they wanted to have a Persian translation, a Farsi translation that they felt good about. And then, of course, once they translate it into Farsi, our State Department has to confirm that the Farsi translation matches the meaning of the English. I think that is part of what was going on here. But the text is out there now. We said that we would be transparent about it. But the reason why it went back and forth a little bit about when exactly the text would be released is just we were trying to show good faith to the Iranians who, for reasons.
Because Netanyahu threw a wrench in the game, man. Netanyahu wasn't trying to hear none of that shit, bro. At this point, it's obvious, man. Bibi got his own agenda, man. He said, what? We're a sovereign nation, and we're going to make our own decisions, man. Straight up. And they wouldn't have it. They said, man, look, Iran and the United States signed the peace deal. We ain't got shit to do with it. Remember, as of a couple of weeks ago, they took Bibi out of the negotiations. So we're actually negotiating on behalf of Bibi, and Bibi's not with that shit.
I have no idea, cared a lot about how the text itself was rolled out. Blue tie there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. As you know, because you were involved in this process, the MOU allows for Iran to sell its oil right away, which means that Iran...
What did it say that Lebanon was supposed to maintain their sovereignty? How can you maintain your sovereignty when you're occupied and under attack? That was supposed to be part of the deal. Lebanon maintaining their sovereignty. How can you maintain your sovereignty when you're occupied and under attack? You can't. Newsflash, you can't. Peace deal was toast from the jump.
Can take in on a monthly basis tens of millions of dollars. Iran's economy was in tatters. How is this not essentially giving a lifeline to Iran economically? And what's to prevent Iran from using all of that money, all of those millions of dollars, to prop up its proxies in the region?
Well, the number one thing is that we actually see where the money moves now because of what we've done with the financial sanctions. We actually know where the money is going to move. And so we have great confidence that we're going to be able to see if they try to fund terrorist organizations, we're going to be able to see that. But you said that millions of dollars is a lifeline. Right now, the Iranian nation is a nation of 94 million people. Their economy is in a free fall. They have sky-high inflation, and fundamentally, about $1 trillion of damage to their industrial base was caused over the last 3 months. The idea that selling a few $1 million worth of barrels of, or a few $1 million worth of oil is going to fundamentally transform the Iranian economy, that's just not true. We thought that it would be good in order to lift the blockade and open the Straits of Hormuz to allow the free flow of energy. We felt that it was reasonable that if we're going to allow everybody else to sell their energy during this period of negotiation, we would allow everyone to sell their energy. That's all we're doing. We can slap everything right back on if the Iranians don't make the deal that we expect. Either one. Either one. Yeah. Guys, how about both of you? Go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, so President Trump said we'll finish.
All right, before he takes this question, chat, I need everyone to hit the like button. Please double tap that screen on your way in and subscribe to the channel. We go live every single night over here at 10 p.m. Central Time, talking politics, entertainment, and current events.
One, talking about Iran, and he said then Cuba is next. Is Cuba next?
Also on Colombia, Mr. Vice President, he has mentioned Colombia 3 times this week. Why is it so important, the election day in Colombia for President Trump?
You guys have to ask Marco about Cuba. That's not. Look, our view, go ahead in a second, but let me just actually answer this guy's question. Fundamentally, in Cuba, it is a system that hasn't worked. They can't make any money. Their economy is, frankly, probably in worse shape than the Iranian economy.
Cuba just did something with their economy today. I think they just had like some sweeping reforms to try to do something with the economy in Cuba. I got to do some research on that.
It's 90 miles from our shore, so every time that there's a crisis, you end up having desperate refugees or desperate, people who can't feed their families trying to flood into our country. We want the people of Cuba to be happy and successful. We're actually talking to the Cuban government right now about how they could change their ways to change that. We're going to see what they do, and obviously, if they do one thing, we're going to do something. If they make smart decisions, we're going to have a much better relationship with that island. Go ahead.
Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President, thank you so much. I know that you are still not sure if you are going to run for president in 2028, but if
that's the thing, though, Quiet Storms, when you say the U.S. has lost all credibility to the world, that's a partial truth. That's not the story. You said Iran stood against the so-called greatest military force in the world and another nuclear country, Israel. You are correct, they did, but they were spared. Man, I'm telling y'all, if Trump would have pushed that fucking button, everybody would have been singing a different fucking tune. If Netanyahu would have pushed that button, everybody would have been singing a fucking tune. At the end of the day, we can call it what we want. We could say it was a loss. We could dress it up however we want to, but in the end, motherfuckers was spared. Spared.
you do not, is there anyone in particular that you would want to see run?
What's your name?
Stephen Kapuska, sir.
I want Stephen Kapuska to run for president in 2028. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice President Vance. I've got two questions. Could you describe the status of your Switzerland trip? Are you definitely still going? What are your plans? And also, if we could drill down on frozen funds. There's been a lot of focus on oil sanctions, but on frozen funds, what's your understanding of how much money is frozen? How much of that is in the U.S.?
See, this is the thing. You're not listening, Envy. You're not listening. I don't know where the comprehension skills have went. Your comment says spared. You attack a sovereign nation based off false allegations. You didn't get the uranium. You didn't get a regime change. And somehow in your mind, that's a success. Those two things aren't even remotely related. I never said that it was a success. I never said we won. I said that they were spared. And yes, I'm going to stand on that. They were spared. If Trump would have sent one of those motherfuckers that he tested off the coast of California about a month ago, everybody in the world would be living in a different fucking reality right now. And we'd all be living in a different reality right now. 20 Hiroshimas, we all would be living in a different fucking world right now.
A senior administration official briefed some of us reporters earlier this week that there might be small antes, is what he said, like small releases of money to build trust with the Iranians early on. Could you describe that whole situation?
So on the frozen funds, the amount of money, I honestly don't know. I've heard numbers north of $100 billion. I've actually heard numbers north of $200 billion. Most of it is not in United States accounts. Most of it's either in the Gulf or in Europe or somewhere else. But I don't know the exact amount of money. It's a lot. It's one of the reasons why we've had such a successful chokehold.
I'm gonna tell you, the only reason they wouldn't send the nukes right now is because the system's not ready for it. Once they get ready to flip the switch, man, put us on CBDC and shit like that, man, when they're ready to completely rug pull this high-flying economy, man, all of these markets overvalued, manipulated market. When they're ready to rug pull this bitch, man, they'll drop some shit. Trust me. Trust me. When they just don't give a fuck, right now, it's some money involved. Right now, it's some money involved. They're gearing up to get ready to rug pull this motherfucker, and everybody better be on the lookout, man. Somebody gonna push that damn button.
On the Iranian economy, though, by not even close to the main reason. We're not releasing a single dollar of that money until the Iranians perform. And there are a number of ways they could perform. For example, let's say they actually take meaningful steps, and this could happen very quickly, to destroy that stockpile of enriched material, then we're going to have a conversation about it. But they have to perform. I've seen some reports, I don't know where this came from, that the Qataris had released billions of dollars in Iranian assets. That's just not true. It would be impossible for the Qataris to do that without our buy-in, and certainly without us seeing it. So a lot of this reporting is just fundamentally wrong. They don't get a dollar of unfrozen assets, their money, not our money, but they don't get a dollar of unfrozen assets until they actually perform under the deal. You asked about Switzerland.
Correct. Peace talks have broken down. They're attributing that to what's going on in Lebanon. They say the IDF is fighting Hezbollah currently, and Iran has ceased all negotiation talks. So yes, the deal will not be signed as scheduled.
Plan is to go to Switzerland. I don't know exactly when. The way that we're setting up this technical negotiation is that obviously you're going to have the political leadership involved. Excuse me. We're going to have people on the ground actually driving the technical talks, the nuclear talks. How do you destroy this highly enriched uranium? All that stuff that you really just have to get into the nitty gritty on. So, I plan to go to Switzerland. Exactly when?
Yes, it was already signed, but they were supposed to do a ceremonial signing, and it was supposed to be like a 2-part signing. And then it was supposed to be a 60-day waiting period while they draft up the final agreement. All of that has fell through. So yes, they did sign one, but it was supposed to be a 2-part signing. And then it was supposed to be a 60-day waiting period, and the final deal was supposed to be signed. But yes, all of that is falling through.
And, we think these technical negotiations are going to start sometime this weekend. That's still the plan, but that could change because it's not an easy country, Iran, to get out of. And so we're trying to figure out exactly when that's going to happen. I suspect this weekend, but I'm not sure.
So you're not going tomorrow to Switzerland?
I may. It just depends on exactly when the Iranians can get there. We're trying to figure that out as we speak. But again, I suspect it will happen this weekend. We're going to find out exactly when over the coming days. Go ahead, babe.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Just 2 questions for you. To follow up on an earlier question, Secretary Rubio said in March that the goal of this war was to, quote, to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles. You just said earlier that the military program is destroyed. U.S. intelligence estimates that Iran still retains roughly 70% of its pre-war ballistic and cruise missile stockpile. So when did the administration decide to abandon that part of the original mission? And then just second as well, moving forward, are you leading the U.S. team moving forward in terms of the negotiations? How involved will you be?
Yeah, so I'm certainly planning to lead the U.S. negotiating team. But on the first question, you talked about an intelligence report that was anonymously leaked to a
You got to remember, Lebanon, they found all of that, what was it, natural gas that they got off the coast of Lebanon. So Lebanon got some motion. Lebanon has got some real motion.
Reporter that was not with context and that frankly is not accurate. What has changed about the Iranian ballistics missile program is it matters much less the number of missiles they have, the number of bullets. What matters much more is the number of launchers they have, and importantly, the teams on the ground that have the capacity to launch those missiles. Their ability to launch missiles has been substantially degraded. Is it zero? No, but it's substantially degraded, and in that sense, we haven't abandoned the mission. We've accomplished that particular part of the mission. If you look at the Gulf Arab allies, and obviously the Israelis who faced a lot, the two of them together faced a brunt of these missile attacks, each of them feels substantially safer today from the Iranian missile threat.
You see what I'm talking about? TKs, you come in here, I ain't never seen you before. I just did a call-in show the other night. None of y'all motherfuckers was in here except for the OGs and the mods. And now you come here and talking about open up the phone lines because you got a grievance. And now you talking about in immigration. That's all I'm going to say. Do you not hear what the fuck we're talking about here? You didn't even come in on topic. You wanted me to stop my show to let you call in and get off topic. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Than they did before. Obviously, that is something that we would like to continue. All the president said yesterday is that you can't expect any country to give up its right of self-defense. You have to have parity, and that's what the president of the United States was talking about. Go ahead.
You say you been sub. Thank you for the sub, TKs, man. But we not talking about immigration right now, man. We talking about the Middle East and the war, man. Maybe in a minute, right? You can't call in and get off topic, man.
No, guys. Yeah.
Leo's reaction to the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding.
I have it. What did he say?
All right, okay. I'll give you the
The
short
MOU
version. Sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. He said.
Go ahead. After you.
I'll give you the short version. All right. He says he welcomes the agreement between the U.S. and Iran. He says it hopes it will help strengthen mutual trust, security, and stability in the Middle East. And he also hopes that it's truly a solution to the war and that the war is really over. What do you say to the Pope, sir?
My response to that is praise Jesus. I'm glad that the Pope has positive.
Not a game. I'm supposed to be the franchise player. Not a game. We're talking about practice. Now we got the NBA doing load management and shit. But they just taking off weeks at a time and shit, man. The NBA is weak, man. They got on the AI for missing practice. Now these people got fans buying tickets and they just gonna sit out because of load management, man. AI was on to something, man. I'm supposed to be the franchise player.
Positive things to say about our MOU. I think that the Pope is fundamentally accurate, and it's going to be good for the entire world, but we got to keep working at it to make sure that the Iranians honor the commitments that they've made. And then yes, you in front. Go ahead. The thing is, there's so many people in here. I could say the red tie, and then 9 of you start shouting at us. The burgundy tie.
The MOU calls for a US...
There we go. That guy.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. The MOU calls for a U.S. troop withdrawal from the Gulf region, tied to the final deal. Can you say whether the drawdown will affect U.S. forces past Iraq and Syria, where American troops currently help protect Kurdish-held areas from Iranian-backed militias?
Okay, so the drawdown contemplated, again, this is the final deal. This is assuming that the Iranians comply, that they give us verification, that they take real substantial conduct towards this peace agreement. What we're saying is that we will...
So I want to know, is the $300 billion off the table now? Because remember what Trump said the other day. If it doesn't go right, what did he say? He said, we're going to drop bombs right on their head. Right on their head. Is that not what Trump said? Did we not just listen to him? Was that last night? Trump said, if it doesn't go right, we're going to drop bombs right on their head. He said it twice.
Will withdraw troops to the pre-conflict level, meaning we're not going to keep a couple of extra aircraft carrier groups over there. The Iranians don't want that. Frankly, we don't want that either. Go ahead. Yeah.
You said that the U.S. is not going to be funding that $300 billion fund. Who exactly is funding that? Is that private companies? And I also noticed that your voice is hoarse. Are you sick? Have you been using your voice a lot?
Oh my God. He almost like, gosh, bro. The joke was just gonna go too far, chat. Like the joke that I had for that question this reporter asked, it was just gonna go too far. So just know that I passed on it because I know it's some grown folks in here, man. It's plug after dark, but I passed on the joke out of respect for the grown folks in here, man.
Well, I've been on a bit of a book tour the past couple of days, but I can't promote my book here in the White House press briefing room. I had a cold about a week ago. That and talking a lot about this deal and talking a lot about the book, I'm definitely a little bit hoarse. But you asked, your first question was about...
Who exactly is funding that $300 billion?
Oh, I see. So what's interesting about this is there is a great desire from the Arab world and from outside the Arab world to actually get involved in Iran if they behave properly. So for example, let's say the United Arab Emirates, who've been a great ally over the last, not just few months, but over the last many years, let's say that they would like to invest in building a power plant. That actually is impossible right now because of the way that U.S. sanctions work. And so what we're saying is that if you behave, and if the Emiratis themselves want to build a power plant, then we will do the sanctions relief necessary to make that possible. The good thing about that is that it actually creates integration, which is leverage. A world where the Gulf Coast Coalition has greater leverage into the Iranian economy is a world where the Iranians are going to be heavily prevented from misbehaving. So it's a lot of the Gulf Coast Coalition. Again, they see that Iran is weakened. They see there's an opportunity to build a new relationship there. And they're saying if they behave, and if the United States is willing to allow this to happen, then absolutely we want to change our relationship with Iran. No, well, I mean, I assume that in the United Arab Emirates there would be private money and so forth that would be part of this. But again, this is so far in advance because it assumes a transformation in Iranian behavior. Sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. As you know, the Iranian-backed groups in the region were involved in this war, and they damaged U.S. facilities and your allies as well. How does this agreement affect Iran-backed groups across the region, especially the Iranian-backed groups in Iraq? And my second question, this agreement requires Iran to stop attacking the Kurdish opposition in Kurdistan region, which they did 2 days ago.
So what this agreement does fundamentally is it requires Iran to behave like a normal country. And if it doesn't, as so many people think that it never will, then it doesn't get any of the economic benefits. And if they do, then that's a great thing for everybody. It's a great thing for the Kurds. It's a great thing for anybody who has been under the brunt or under the threat of Iranian-funded terrorist organizations. The expectation is that Iran will stop that, and if they don't get the benefits of the bargain. John.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Many of the colleagues that you served with in the U.S. Senate and Republican Conference have criticized this deal over the last 24 hours. What is your message, Mr. Vice President, back to them?
So I guess I would say to anybody, any of the critics, is number one, have a little bit of faith in the President of the United States. The idea that he is going to strike a deal that's been bad for the American people, it's preposterous. He is the person who's had the courage to fundamentally transform our relationship with Iran and with a lot of other countries over the last year and a half. He believes in this deal. He is going to see it to completion. And if the Iranians don't
change our relationship, didn't y'all just run around for 2 months straight talking about y'all unalived everybody? Didn't y'all run around talking about y'all unalived the Ayatollah? You unalived the next Ayatollah. The third Ayatollah is injured. What do you? He thinks. Are they trying to say that Iran has a favorable relationship with the U.S.? It's crazy.
Comply, we still have every single tool and point of leverage that we have today. That'd be message number one, is have a little faith in the president's ability, given that he's got us this far, to take us the final step. The second thing that I would say is so many of what I've read or heard that people believe about this deal is just fundamentally untrue. It is a memorandum of understanding. It is fundamentally a principle that, yes, the Straits of Hormuz are going to be open immediately, and they already are. Yes, they're going to give up their highly enriched material, but they've got to actually do it. It's about conduct. It's about rewarding good conduct and punishing bad conduct, which in some ways is what we've been doing for the last 3 months vis-a-vis that country anyway. So many of the criticisms, I saw Lindsey Graham came out with a positive statement after expressing some concerns. I think that when people get to understand not just the agreement, but our negotiating posture as a country, they will realize this is an excellent thing for the American people, but that's part of our job. We've got to tell the story about what this means for Americans, how it's going to make all of us safer and more prosperous. That's why I'm here talking to everybody, and we're going to keep on telling that story in the days and weeks to come. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Jordan Conradson with the Gateway Pundit. I want to talk back to the Lebanon component of the deal. There's a report in Axios that Netanyahu's fuming over this. Israel doesn't feel bound to the MOU as it relates to Lebanon. If, as you mentioned, your frustration with Israel striking in Beirut, hitting apartment buildings, if that continues, could it torpedo the deal? And what would the U.S.'s response be to a broader war in Lebanon involving Israel and Hezbollah?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into hypotheticals that could torpedo the deal, because I think the president's expectation is that all of our friends, the Israelis, the Arabs in the region, we're going to work together and actually see this deal to completion. Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this...
He ain't got to say it. The deal is done. The deal is off the table. The deal is sabotaged. He ain't got to say it.
Does bother me is that you have seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest
read the fucking room, JD.
problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
Okay, JD Vance left on a mic drop. JD Vance trying to act like he America first again or something, man. What?
Is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
Damn.
Each side has left a number of traps that could allow them to walk away.
All right, so this lady is gonna break down the MOU. Carlos has been asking what's in the MOU, where is it at? This lady right here is gonna break down the MOU and what both sides have hidden inside of the draft agreement.
For Iran's side, it's put in the provisions about Lebanon, which means that the White House would have to get Israel to stop firing at Hezbollah, even if Hezbollah fires back, and also to withdraw from southern Lebanon, which of course Israeli officials have said they're not going to do. And let's remember that the Hezbollah leadership is largely run right now by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. After Israel took out Hassan Nasrallah, their leadership is weakened. So Iran essentially can get Hezbollah to attack the south at any time and trigger some sort of fallout. For the U.S. part, the trap that they've left in there is that Iran has to agree to all of these various nuclear issues, many of which it's never agreed to before, or the U.S. can walk away. So this is really about paying Iran off to open the Strait of Hormuz.
I think what's also interesting is the lesson that Iran would.
All right, that's all we needed to hear from that. We're gonna push on. Mario Nafar had Anna Kasparian on there. We're gonna check in with some of that, and then the other two long forms I had, I'm gonna save for tomorrow. I'm gonna save this Stephen A. Smith debate.
22nd Airborne heading to.
JD Vance did like a 2-hour interview with Diary of a CEO. We'll probably we'll watch that on tomorrow. Yeah, that's like 2 hours. I'm not gonna watch all of that right now.
Iran.
Is that
I
true?
don't know what to expect. No, but I'm saying
okay.
what I mean is that
Wait,
I don't know what to expect anymore. Nothing would surprise me.
Nothing would surprise me either. I mean, there's an article out right now. Apparently, the original reporting comes from CNN, but the Times of Israel is reporting that Netanyahu intends to tap on the pro-Israel, Republican lawmakers and media figures like Mark Levin to essentially help him undo this progress toward a peace deal. It's just, this guy is relentless. I mean, he wants nothing more than to just continue pounding away.
Hey, chat, don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Please support the channel by double tapping that screen. We're also 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a live stream.
At Iran, it was never about nuclear weapons, right? They can sign the most hardcore deal ensuring that there are checks on what they're up to, ensuring that their enriched uranium is downgraded to something that wouldn't even be close to what's necessary to build a nuclear weapon. It doesn't matter. It was never about nuclear weapons. Netanyahu knows, hey, I am the leader of a nuclear power, and nuclear weapons serve as a deterrent. No one is going to go after Israel the way that he purports people are looking to go after Israel. He just wants to expand his borders. And Iran, I think it's now proven, has really served as a regional power that seeks to check that aggression.
Can you imagine if a report came out that whatever government, whatever, name any country, is working with X influencer? Well, there was that story. Hold on. The Russian government or some Russian company working with a few influencers. Everyone was up in arms and they should be arrested, etc. And it wasn't even direct. It was Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, and others. And it wasn't direct. They didn't intend. They didn't know that company is related to the Russian government. But from what I understand, but in this case, it's a story that everyone just dismisses as reality of Israel, a foreign government working with people inside the U.S. that have a pretty loyal audience on American cable television to influence the U.S. president. And we talk about it like, this is normal. This is expected. How wild is that?
It's very wild, but it goes along with this ongoing double standard, this ongoing trend of us as Americans fear-mongering about certain countries, demonizing anyone who even says anything complimentary or fair to said countries. They're not even working for Russia, right? In that regard, I mean, they will try to destroy, the powers that be will try to destroy your career, destroy your livelihood, accuse you of being a foreign agent. But we literally do have foreign agents who are not registered as foreign agents here in the United States working on behalf of Israel's best interests. And I really do have a problem with that. You know, Mario, you can look back at my career. I've been on air for over 20 years at this point.
And what's crazy, Israel is not the only country. The China, we could add China to that list. We can add, yeah, we're going to add China to that list for sure.
Point. And I was never one of these like jingoistic Americans who's always like talking about how we're the biggest, we're the greatest. But I've always had deep love for my country, right? It wasn't until I realized how much of our sovereignty has been violated, encroached upon, that suddenly I just feel this need to like, I don't know, protect what America is supposed to be, you know, fight to get back to where we should be as a country, as a sovereign country. And so I don't necessarily have a problem with someone advocating for or working on behalf of a foreign country. They just need to be honest about it. And we shouldn't have double standards, right? We shouldn't treat Russia differently than Israel when it comes to, you know, various foreign agents working on behalf of these two different countries. If we have a problem with it happening with Russia, we should have a problem with it happening with Israel as well.
Agree on that point, and we're going to get into the news. Actually, I'll read the story you were talking about. I was going to start with that, the article that you referenced. But just on that point, you know, why you first, I didn't know you've been doing this for 20 years.
I know,
holy
it's
shit.
crazy. I look pretty good, right?
Yeah, I was going to Google your age, but I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. But let's stick to the topic. So that's number one. That's impressive. You've been doing this for so long. And also, I can relate to how frustrated you are because I got frustrated. We were talking offline, the Seb Gorka thing, the article that came out naming me and a few others. And I looked at it, I'm like, it didn't bother me, but I'm like, you know, I'm not even American. I shouldn't really care about the United States. I care about it just because I find it unfair. There's that system, which is a beautiful system, you know, democracy, liberty, democracy, freedom, etc., an open economy. I come from Australia. We're an ally to the US. We depend on that system to operate. We have a similar system there. And I get upset seeing it abused the way it is, not only by Israel, different groups, but obviously Israel has been the focus for the last few years. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of shedding light to it. And then the US, instead of appreciating that, they criticize those like myself as on the outside for caring about a country I shouldn't care about. And obviously Americans caring about it. Yet you never see similar articles about people like Mark Levin. Not from the left, not from the right. That's the bigger problem.
Right.
Left and the right.
Well, I mean, look, I take issue with people in foreign countries, and I've gotten, you know, private messages from Australians actually, who are absolutely livid about my commentary in regard to getting involved in a war against Iran on Israel's behalf. And here's the thing, Mario, like if you're saying positive things about the United States, I've got no issue with you. If you are a foreigner in like a third party country, right, like Australia, and you really don't have a dog in the fight, okay, your taxpayers are not going to have to bankroll the war. Your soldiers are not going to have to risk their lives and potentially die in a war on behalf of Israel. So like, your condemnations mean nothing to me because you have no dog in the fight. You have nothing to lose by, vocally supporting everything and anything Israel wants. We as Americans, I think, as has been shown through the outcome of this war, had a lot to lose, and we did lose. And in effect, the exact opposite of what Netanyahu wanted happened. Iran has really proven itself to be a regional power, and there really is no military option on the US side to change that, which is why Trump decided to go forward with this MOU. And look, you got to keep in mind, Trump is the kind of guy who never wants to admit defeat, never. And honestly, the MOU admits defeat. He might not say it vocally, but it's in the terms of the MOU. And he's got no other choice. The people who are freaking out about it, okay, what's the other option? Are you going to send American boots on the ground? Because every military expert who uses common sense and their expertise says that there's no military option. You would be sending our troops to their death. So I think it's really important to decouple from Israel. It is insane that we chose to enter a war with a country that doesn't even have the same objectives as us. So of course this was going to fall apart. And I just hope that Trump sticks to, working toward an eventual peace deal. I'm not worried about Iran's enriched uranium or their nuclear dust, as Trump likes to put it.
Carlos.
What I'm more worried about is re-engaging or reigniting this war, which is pointless and has accomplished nothing.
You're still worried that the war could restart?
Of course, the Israelis are relentless. And I mean, Netanyahu is open about how he's working hard to sabotage this. Just today, this morning, I was watching one of his speeches where he just insists. He says, no, we're going to continue our offensive in Lebanon. We're not going to stop. The real question, Mario, is, okay, well, after Iran holds to their promise and they retaliate against Israel for terrorizing Lebanon, what will the United States do? What will Trump do? Will Trump attempt to intercept missiles? Will Trump try to defend Israel? Will Trump get sucked back into a war with Iran? I'm really hoping that he's smarter than that and doesn't get goaded into reigniting this war. But who can say? I mean, it's really hard to predict.
Well, let's go. Let me ask you about the U-turn that Trump has done. So I said a while ago, I'm like, this is an opportunity for Trump to actually turn this catastrophic war into a win for the US. It was right after the ceasefire. I'm like, there's an opportunity here to blame it all on Israel and actually change that American relationship with Israel. But even I didn't believe that could happen. I thought it was a possibility. And we're seeing that unfold right now. So I started saying in the last couple of days, look, I criticized Trump all this time for the war, but I want to praise him for first signing that, what one of my guests called a surrender document. It takes a lot to admit defeat.
All right, so do y'all think that's a surrender document? Yes or no? It's the MOU that was signed that doesn't matter anymore. Was that a surrender document in your opinion? Chat, double tap the screen. We got to get to the like goal, and we're also 20 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We go live at 10 p.m. Central Time every single night over here.
Without admitting defeat for signing a piece of paper like this, he could have just walked away and left it as is. And number two, doing that U-turn on Iran, saying they have advocating for why they should have a missile program, criticizing Israel. It's like almost you're going to have an Iranian-American alliance against Israel. That's how it looks like if you look at the rhetoric.
Well, okay. Let me just comment on that real quick, because if you look at Trump's past as president, as the leader of this country, and how he reacts to power, he is drawn to powerful figures, including dictatorial leaders. Like, he loves strength. And what Iran was able to demonstrate throughout the course of this war was exactly what Trump is drawn to: strength. They were able to show that they're sophisticated, that they think things through, that they have patience, that they're actually measured in how they respond until they've had enough, right? And so, this last round of fighting, Iran is like, we're going to retaliate, and we're going to retaliate even more aggressively. But they were very measured. I mean, when you think about the 12-day war and how Iran responded or retaliated against the United States during the 12-day war, an unreasonable, unhinged regime would not call the United States government and let them know to evacuate US military bases so no one gets killed, and then they do like light bombing that barely causes any trouble at all. That is not what a dangerous country does. Yet we were all led to believe that, oh my gosh, we should all be terrified of the IRGC. They're coming after all of us. Our lives are in danger. These were all narratives by the Israeli government. Now, that's not to say that I would want to live under the IRGC. That's not to say that I fully support the IRGC. What I do support, though, is the sovereignty of Iran, the sovereignty of the Iranian people, and their decision on who gets to govern their country or lead their country. I don't believe that a foreign country should come in and topple a regime or attempt to topple a regime, because as we've learned time and time again, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern countries, it creates a power vacuum. It leads to chaos. It leads to someone like Jalani, a former al-Qaeda leader and terrorist who attempted to kill our own soldiers in Iraq, becoming the new leader of Syria, who, by the way, going back to Trump's insults toward Israel, I think the most fascinating statement he made was, Israel's not good at fighting Hezbollah. Maybe we should send the Syrians in. I mean, he's talking about al-Qaeda terrorists being better at defeating Hezbollah than Israel is, more humane than Israel is in Lebanon. It's amazing.
Yesterday was one of the most fun days in politics I've had in my time doing this. For Trump to be talking, that's more fun than the Abraham's Accords coming out of nowhere a few weeks ago now. For Trump to talk about al-Shara, the president of Syria, going into Lebanon, and that's the president of Syria that.
All right, Chad. Do y'all think JD will run in 2028? Do y'all think he will get the he will win the Republican nomination in 2028? Yes or no, Chad?
Doesn't trust Israel, that is trying to. I'm more positive towards him now. I think he's trying to do the right thing, but I
hope
exactly, fingers crossed. But what I'm sure Trump knows, that he met with the Lebanese prime minister and told him, don't trust Israel.
Shut
don't
your
let them
ass
cause
up, Richard.
division within Lebanon. Don't fight Hezbollah at the behest of Israel, and don't concede anything unless you get something in return. That's al-Shara telling the Lebanese prime minister. And then Trump, a week or two later, comes in and says, al-Shara, I need you to go into Lebanon and do Israel's work in Lebanon. Man, it was, and I was told as well that al-Shara was invited to go to the US last week, and he declined. And apparently this is the reason. Yes, so one of my guests told me, and they said to me, this is the reason, most like, I don't know whether they were speculating or it's fact or it's leaked, that because al-Shara knew that if he went there, Trump will try to convince him to go into Lebanon. He didn't want to offend him. So,
look,
it's
Hezbollah would not be a problem for Israel if Israel just stopped invading southern Lebanon in an attempt to annex the land. I mean, this historically has happened again and again and again. And Hezbollah wasn't even around until the 1980s, when they formed as resistance to Israel's invasion and 18-year occupation of southern Lebanon. Hezbollah was able to end it. And, it's just, as soon as the war against Iran began on February 28th, what's the first thing Israel did? They invaded southern Lebanon. Of course, under the false pretense of, Hezbollah is a danger to people living in northern Israel. Just stop with the aggression against Lebanon. That land doesn't belong to you. And, for the longest time, I was wondering, what is it with Israel wanting to expand its borders? Like, how many people live there? Do you really need more land? But it's all about natural resources. And so, the invasion into Lebanon, if you take a look at what portion they want to annex, I mean, they want to annex into the sea where there's, important oil that Israel could benefit from. Yes, absolutely. So it's really important for people it doesn't mean you immediately disbelieve everything coming from Israel. I just think that it's important for people to be skeptical of the narratives coming from individuals in positions of power, period. Whether we're talking about the Israeli government, the US government, the Iranian regime, it doesn't matter. People in positions of power have their own agendas. And in order to get buy-in for their agendas, they're going to have a completely different narrative when they're forward-facing, when they're public-facing. You have to kind of dig a little deeper, go beneath the surface, and try to figure out what's really going on here.
So what's your analysis of what is actually happening between Trump and Netanyahu? The change of rhetoric, the MOU itself, the fact that Netanyahu is trying to rally all allies to turn against Trump. The fact that Lindsey, that was a bizarre one yesterday as well. Lindsey Graham posted supporting the MOU. So I don't know what.
Yeah, we finna get out of here. Oh, man. Yeah, we finna get out of here, chat. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I gotta get up early in the morning, but I'm gonna try to go live early in the morning, and we're gonna watch the debate, and we're gonna try to catch that JD Vance full interview. But yeah, I said I was gonna get off at 12:30. Richard said, "Fuck out of here, streamer." Richard, how about we get you the fuck up out of here, Richard? How about that, Richard? How about we make sure that you don't come back, Richard? Good day, Richard. You see how we do that? Now we get Richard the hell up out of here. All right, chat. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, Queen. You have a good night as well, man. I'm gonna get some rest and we'll be back on tomorrow, man. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. We do got the best mods on YouTube, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Good night, chat.